Welcome back, ladies and gents. We're here for another round of the Tuesday's GT3 Championship, sponsored by Next Level Racing, and it is currently wet here, well, damp actually, at Brands Hatch. We've got precipitations falling from the sky at the moment in the form of rain. It's currently Ostrek on provisional pole though, with a 127.452, 2/10 clear of Demori there in P2, who's done a 137.672. And if you're wondering what the two columns mean, well, the first one, CL, current lap, so you can see what the current lap is, obviously in real time, what lap times they're doing, and the GTB is capped to best, so it would be as you usually see it on your default ACC tower or screen. But top 6 at the moment, separated just by 6/10, and it looks like Ostrek, oh, losing the car there on the exit of, I believe he was going through, I'm not sure where he was going through actually. Was he going through Surtees? I think it was Surtees, but he's returned the car to the pits. Tom is currently a 10th up at the moment, and he's currently sitting in 3rd here, only 4/10 off, but he looks like he will be able to improve this lap. Still got quite a way to go for this lap. He's into sector 3 now, but we've got a few more corners to go. This corner he's coming up to now is blind right hand, a very tricky corner, especially in the wet, and looks like Thomas has had no issue whatsoever there, leaving a bit of room for error as he exits, though he doesn't want to be that close to the grass on the exit, because if you dip a wheel onto the grass there, especially in the wet, like I said, it's pretty much game over. Bit of understeer, I think, on entry towards the final corner. But crosses the line there with an improvement of 127.742. Not enough for him to gain a position, but it is an improvement, and still sits in P3. We've got Tobin here in P7, 7/10 off at the moment in the Aston Martin. He's currently a 10th up on this lap, 2/10 up on this lap, to using all of the exit here, even in the wet. And once again, coming up towards Sheen Curve. It's another tricky corner through the penultimate corner, up towards the final corner, which is, of course, Clark Curve. And what's he going to do? Looks like he's lost a bit of time in that final sector. In the last 2 corners, he seems to have lost quite a bit of time. You can see they're not taking the optimal racing line, which is closest towards the pit wall. But he's just set himself up for another lap here, as Tobin Vining currently looks like he was 2/10 up, maybe a bit deep onto the brakes into Druids. And it doesn't look like it will improve at the moment. And even with this weather, we've got the top 8 all separated by just 7/10, which is absolutely nothing. Usually in the wet we see the gaps much bigger, but at the moment it's very close between the top 8. We've got a few comments coming in as well. We've got Lapria saying He doesn't know who to vote for in terms of the driver of the day. Jan saying vote for him. Lord Prof, good to see you as well. We've got Malik Mahmoud. Oh, good to see you. He's showing support for Project Reborn. Malik raced in last season with us here at the SimZone in pretty much the same championship, I think it was, the Next Level Racing Championship, but in Season 8 of that. But now his teammates obviously are continuing that on to Season 9. Showing support for Barth, Ackham and Thomas. We've got Steph Jake as well, good to see you, saying good luck to all the drivers today out on track. Vining doesn't look like he's up for an improvement, 2/10 down on this lap, so no, it doesn't look like anyone is up for an improvement actually. Let's see who's about to start a lap here. No, Demori looks like he was a 10th up, but look how close Demori and Ostrek are. That last lap from Demori, 127.517, and it's just 600 separating Ostrek and Demori. Very, very close, given the conditions. And I mean, even in the dry, that would be extremely close. Pisano's back, which is good to see. Missed the last round, but he's here for this one. Currently sitting in P3, 2/10 off though. And I believe he is on an outlap as well. Got some traffic up ahead, but it won't matter since he is just on an outlap. Packham, 5/10 up on this lap currently as he approaches the final corner. Round to final corner now, using all of the track available here. It's so easy to run wide. Maybe get onto that gravel or grass even, but he's going to cross the line here. Good improvement from him. It's not going to be a position gain though. Still going to be P9 there for Packham, as looks like he's going to return the car to the pits. Then Raki's just started a lap. Let's see who we can catch. He's about to start a lap. We've got the 141 car, Pitchik, who's about to start a lap. So here we go. Let's go on board with the Pitchik coming up towards turn 1. Third gear there, using all of the exit curb available. Slippery in the wet, but it doesn't really matter too much there through turn 1. Turn 2 is where you need to avoid the curb on the exit. That can be very, very deadly. Now down towards Graham Hill Bend, turn 3 here, and using a bit of the curb once again on the exit there. And up to Surtees. It is Surtees, isn't it? Yep. Keeping in second, it's important to get a good run out of Surtees here because it's a long way down towards the next corner here. Very fast, this next corner, this right-hander. Drop a gear. Down 2 for Pitchik actually. Some cars it's just 1, but a bit wide there for Pitchik, and that's his lap invalidated, I believe. Yes it is, sorry. Lap invalidated, but we stay on board because he still seems to be going, well, driving at a quali pace here. Cutting that inside through that right hand corner is pretty much blind here. I don't think ACC really does the elevations justice because it is much worse in real life. I think if you want proper elevations, iRacing does it very well. But that's a lap here at Brands Hatch. On board with the Aston Martin of Pitchik. Driver from Team Ballas, Ukrainian driver actually. He's going to start another lap here. We've still got now the top 9 separated by just over a second here. Not a huge amount of drivers in this one today. We are missing quite a few, but unforeseen circumstances for quite a lot of drivers. In fact, Fanara being one of them, who has actually just had his child born, which he was unexpected. Well, it was unexpected, so he's not able to make the race, but congratulations to him. And the top 2 still just 600ths apart, very close. We've got a few more comments coming in as well. We've got Jane Boost there, also showing support for PBR, and Toshet showing his support for, PRB, Project Reborn, Project Reborn I believe it is. Yeah, Project Reborn it should be. And the Project Reborn drivers currently, Sebastian Gallet currently in P12. Finally got their livery on as well. I believe their team manager has uploaded that now, so it is definitely an amazing livery. I think one of the best looking liveries on the grid actually. There's Project Reborn Porsches, but very wide there on the exit. Currently P12 for Gallet. The other Project Reborn driver currently in P15. That's orange. They're down in P15. 2 seconds off the pace, 2.6 seconds. And the Porsche usually a quick car here at Brands Hatch, but seems like they are struggling in the wet, at least for Orange and Gale, who finished much further up last time round in... can't remember, it was Zolder, I believe it was. Let's just double check. So many championships going on now that I don't even know which race is which. Yeah, it was Zolder last time out, and we will bring up the standings as well once we get onto the formation lap, or towards the end of this qualifying session actually. We will bring up the standings, and looks like Demori 2/10 up there as he enters Druids. He's lost it though, so just a case of being deep on the brakes, gaining some time on entry, but losing it on the exit, and that's still within track limits surprisingly as he exits turn 3. But it's so close, and with the rain getting less towards the end of this qualifying session, I think Demori just needs to be a bit braver through one of these corners. I don't know which one, but it's going to be one of these corners, and he could possibly take from Ostrek. Pisano a 10th up actually, and he's only just started this lap, entering sector 2 now. Ostrek is flashing purple, so he looks like he's up for an improvement. Barth half a second up. Could he gain P9 here and push Packham down a position? It's going to be close. Barth exits the final corner, still 5/10 up. He needs about 6/10 here to push Packham down. I don't think it's going to be enough for Barth as he crosses the line. No, it's not. Just 500ths there separating P9 and P10 in this quali session. Pisano still a 10th up. Let's quickly get... Actually, we will bring up the standings once we're on the formation lap. It makes it easier for us so we can exactly watch what happens towards the end of this qualifying session. But Pisano not up for any improvement. Gale 4/10 up as he rounds the final corner. Now 3/10 up. He's lost a 10th there, entering the final corner. Someone onto the gravel there. It's turn 1, but Gale is going to cross the line and jump up to P11. But there we have it. Ostrek P1, Demori P2, and Pisano P3. We will be back in just a moment. So we've got the lot drivers lining up on the grid now. We're going to quickly go through the standings here coming into this round. So it's currently Pisano leading the championship. Obviously the drop round is taken into account as the championship goes on here, with the results being uploaded directly to SimGrid. So Pisano currently P1 in the championship, followed by Thomas in P2, just 1 point behind actually. Pisano obviously getting the extra point for the fastest lap of the race. Demori currently P3 in the championship on 99 points, tied with DeMarco in P4, who isn't actually here today, so he's going to drop down the order in the championship, of course. Viney currently in P5, Pitchik P6, Orange P7, Ostrek P8, Gale P9, Dave P10, Reali P11, Raggy P12, Tolman P13, and Packham P14. So those are your standings here coming into this round, and we will get a quick grid walk as well for the drivers here. So we will start that just now. And we can get a closer look as well at the liveries. So as we saw in qualifying, Ostrek taking P1 and Demori just 400ths behind. Pisano P3. Now some of the drivers don't have their flags added, of course. But Thomas P4. We've got a few Mercedes here in the top 10 as well. Pitchik in P5. A few Astons there as well towards the top. Aston's quite good in these conditions, and it is only damp as well, so it's going to be tricky in these conditions. Tobin currently P7 there in that Aston Martin, using official Aston Martin colours as well. Faulkner P8, Packham P9 here, top 10 here for Packham as well. Barth P10, Barth from the Advisor Racing team in that Porsche. Gale P11, there's a closer look at the Project Reborn livery. Manuel Raggi currently in P12 in the quali session. Competizione P13. I think the drivers starting on the inside may have a bit more of an advantage, since turn 2 as well is a right hand corner, so if they can keep the inside for that, they will be at an advantage to those on the outside. McGowan P16, sorry. Interesting livery there from him as well, I quite like it. And Goosep currently P17 as well. Pryor 18, I believe. Pryor unfortunately has broken a bone in his shoulder, something like that, but he is on the controller as a result. But here we go, drivers lining up side by side, and even with being on the controller, he's not last place. Elshaug there in P19 in that quali session. Now we will have driver of the day voting up as well later on in the race. Pretty much once the pit window opens, we will have driver of the day voting up, and there will be a link in the comments as well, so you can vote for whoever you want. But here we go, we're going to be green in any moment now, and we are green. Ostrek off to a good start there, pulls towards the middle of the track to open up turn 1, and he's well into the lead here. Demori trying to go around the outside of Pisano, who takes the inside curb. That's not the line you want to be taking. Demori already ahead of Pisano here as they're going towards Druids. A bit of a bump, I think, between the two, or maybe not. Yeah, slight bump between the two actually, but Demori stays ahead. Pisano dropped down in position P3. Thomas right in the back of them, who has pulled away slightly from Vining in P5, but remember, it's still the start of the race, still very, very close. And we've got Barth going side by side here with, I believe that is Packham. Packham on the outside, fending off Barth. And we've got two drivers behind that there going side by side as well. Oh, looks like, is that a disconnection? I think it is. I think Raggy got scared by that. Ostrek, oh, there we go. He's back in the front. But that scared quite a few. That scared a few drivers there. And no, that's Faulkner off onto the grass. Luckily, got it back on track. But what's happened here to Ostrek again? He seems to be struggling with. I think he's disconnected as Ostrek. Yeah, Ostrek has disconnected, struggling with his connection. Unfortunately, I think he had a similar issue last time out as well. I believe he did, so Ostrek needs to get his connection sorted out here if he wants to have any contention for the top 3 in this championship. But it's now Demori who leads the race. followed by Pisano. Thomas jumping back now to the top two, and he's being closed back in by Vining. Pitchett closing into them two as well. Seems to be sticking with them actually. Tobin P6 now fending off Faulkner. Bad exit out of Druids there from Tobin. Faulkner all over the back of him now. Easy going, all over the curb there from Faulkner. Gets the rear out, but a good save. And now Packham might have a chance of getting past Faulkner here. Looks towards the inside, but doesn't have enough of an overlap there to go for that move. A bit of a poor exit there from Packham as well. Quite a strange line, and I think he had to take a slightly different line when he attempted that overtake on Faulkner, but that has allowed Barth to close back up to these two, and looking like Galle there as well catching up. Galle's got a bit of a battle of his own to deal with though. He's got Raggy behind him, followed by Orange. So a bit of a Project Reborn sandwich here for Raggy, and in the background that's Rogers in the 47 Ferrari then. But let's go back towards the top two. Demori still keeping that gap to Pisano. Thomas not able to keep up really with the top two at the moment. Usually we see Demori and Thomas quite even on pace, but at the moment it seems to be otherwise. Thomas not able to keep up with the top two as of yet. The fastest lap now 128.1 set by Demori, but the Mercedes seem to be quite even here. Thomas and Vining obviously both from RKM Red Kings Motorsports, so I assume they'd have similar setups here. Ostrek is back, which is good to see. I'll be trying to get as many points as he can, but I mean it could have been such a good race there for Ostrek. Even last time when he did disconnect, he started on pole, and it's a bit of a shame for Ostrek. Where is he currently in the championship? Ostrek is currently, if I can find him, I think I'm not using my eyes properly. Ah, there we go. It's P8 as Ostrek. So yeah, round 2 was P14. I believe he disconnected there as well, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, it's still as it follows. Demori P1, Pisano P2. Pisano losing a bit of time now to Demori as well. Pitchik currently on the back of Vining. These two have been quite close. Vining losing over a second to Thomas now. So something's happened to Vining. He's not able to keep up. Maybe the tyres not correct pressures here with Pitchik. Sorry, for Vining, and like I said earlier, it's a damp track, so it's going to be very, very tricky for the drivers to get the tyres in the correct window, especially if the track dries even further. You can already see tyre marks or rubber on the track where the drivers are braking, or the rubber is being put down on the track, so it's not really wet enough. Wets, I don't think. I can't see any spray from any of the cars, so I think they will be on slicks, the drivers. It's all about the tyre pressures now into this race, and of course we have a pit window too, so if the drivers are out of pressure at the moment, they're going to have to wait all the way to the pit window to pit here. let's have a look at what else is going on throughout the field. Sorry, just getting a bit distracted there with that disconnection from Ostrek. Comments in. Cascanova, good to see you. Showing support for the Kings from RKM. Lord Pill saying that disconnect scared me. He was shouting at the screen, watch out. I think it scared a few of the drivers as well. They tried to avoid it, but ended up driving straight through Ostrek there. And Barth with a bit of a mistake there onto the grass. And he's a bit deep there into the penultimate corner. Can Galet go for a bit of a switch back here? They're side by side coming up towards the final corner now. You Barth on the inside, Galet on the outside. This corner is so good to be able to set up a switchback, but doesn't look like Galet's been able to do it. Barth held him off nicely there, but this is allowing once again Raggy to close back up. Barth looks like he took a bit of a better line there through turn 1, but a bit squirrely on the exit. This is forming a bit of a train now. Galet, well, Barth followed by Galet, then Raggy, then Orange, and in the background, Rogers only a second and a half off. The top two now separated by just half a second here. So Pisano closing the gap back to Demori as well. We're going to catch that battle in just a moment too. Let's see if we can catch it now. In fact, the top two even closer than they were before. Here we go. As we've got that battle going on, looks like we've got side-by-side action here. That seems to be Barth and Galet on. Once again, Galet tried to go for a switchback here. Has it worked? He's going to have the inside for the next corner. And Galet, with the ultimate switchback there, has got past Barth. And Barth now having to defend. He hasn't been able to catch a break. He's got Raggy behind him. But Barth, way too late on the brakes there from Barth. And he's made contact with Galet. That's quite unusual from Barth there. But he's lost positions as a result. Galet losing a position there to Raggy. I think that's the first time ever I've seen Barth come into contact with someone. But he didn't gain any positions as a result, and he did lose some time. But obviously, Galet is not going to be happy with that one. He's still behind Raggy though, so he's got to make some, some moves again. And all that work, not necessarily gone out the window, but he would pick up a slight bit of damage for that. Now Barth on the back of Comazetto. Comazetto that last time around 131.2. Barth with that mistake 135.9. So quite a bit slower with that accident. But Barth, let's see what he can do here in the remainder of this race. Seems to have better pace than Comazetto. In fact, he's going to get past already into the braking zone around the outside there for Barth. Good move there from him. Don't usually see Barth doing that around the outside, but interesting to see now as he fights his way back through the pack. We've got Galet on the back of Raggy now. So Raggy was actually behind both of these two, or just Galet, I believe, and now he's got to defend against the Porsches behind him. Galet looking for a move up the inside. He's going to get it done. He backs out of it. Sensible move there from Galet, but forces Raggy into a mistake all over the grass. And maybe both of these two would be able to get past Raggy here. Galet has got the job done, and now you can see it's Raggy side by side with Orange here. Orange on the outside, going to be later on the brakes. No, he tries it. Oh, bit of contact between the two. I don't think that was Raggy's fault there. Raggy held the inside line. Orange tried to go for a switchback, but obviously had nowhere to go, and now he's fallen into the clutches of Rogers and Barth once again. So this battle heating up again between Orange, Rogers and Barth. And in the background, looks like we've got some battles going on here with Pryor and Elshaug. Pryor just ahead of Elshaug here. Pryor, obviously, like I mentioned earlier, I believe it's a broken collarbone, I think. Let's just double check. Yeah, broken collarbone. So he's racing on the controller at the moment. And he's not doing too bad. Currently P16 out of, 19 drivers, obviously one disconnecting, but 18 now. But not doing too bad. Looking at the battle for the lead, it's extremely close now. 3/10 separating the top two. Demori and Pisano will get that battle on the big screen there as well between those two. And you can really see track is quite dry. very, very dry. And a mistake there from Demori. That's probably going to allow Pisano to get past very easily here. In fact, they are side by side coming up towards the final corner. Demori on the inside. Pisano has got enough of his car on the outside to hold it there. And using all of the track is Pisano. They're still going to be side by side, I think, coming up towards turn 1. Pisano can't shut the door just yet, so opens up the corner for himself. Around the outside still. And I think Demori, if he holds the inside line coming up towards turn 2. Oh, bit of contact between the two. Looks like Demori had a bit of oversteer and contact for the two. Demori facing the wrong way there. He's got it going once again. Looks like the car, the engine stalled as well, but he's got it going once again. He's dropped down the aura. Demori did look out of shape there on the exit of turn 1. The rear came round. I think Pisano wasn't really expecting that. And there we had it. Contact. Demori being spun round, dropping down to 8th now. And in the background that you can see is Elshaug wide up the final corner. But this might just be Pisano's opportunity now to, well, to sail off into the distance now with his main rival down in P8. Looks like Tobin and Packham side by side. Packham already up into P6. Oh, there's been contact between the two. And why? As soon as we switch over to someone, there's contact. But Tobin here being very sportsmanlike. He knows he's in the wrong. And he is waiting for the affected car. Obviously has to get out of the way here because we've got some cars coming around. We've got the Porsche of Gallet. So Tobin, very sportsmanlike here. Tobin's raced with us since PS4 days as well. Obviously we don't run PS4 anymore. But he's been with us for a while. Well, no. Raggy in the background, dipping a wheel onto the grass, facing the wrong way now. Hitting the barriers as well. Oh, he's got some serious damage on that Ferrari. Struggling to get going again as well. But at that corner, that third to last corner there, which is, what's it called? Sheen Curve. It's so difficult. That's the problem with these traditional British tracks there. Tobin giving the position back to Packham, which is lovely to see. The problem with these British tracks is you've got no runoff. It's pretty much grass and gravel absolutely everywhere. So if you make a mistake, it will punish you. And I actually like it better than tracks you have runoff with, because with runoff, you've got people... Well, drivers can abuse the track limits a bit more and gain an advantage without really being penalised for it. So with tracks like this where you've got grass on the exits, if you make a mistake, run a bit too wide, you're either going to lose control or you're going to lose time. So it really does punish the drivers. And, well, I think it just makes the racing a bit better as well, in my opinion. And Orange slightly wide there. I was just talking about making mistakes, and there we go. One slight mistake from Orange has allowed Barth to look up the inside, and now Packham's going to try and look up the inside of Barth, but I don't think he's going to have it done here. Coming up towards this right hand, and this is a 4-car battle. Let's see, look how close Tobin is to the back of Packham there. Looks towards the outside. Packham going defensive there, keeps the car in the middle of the track. Can Tobin go for a switchback? He's got the better exit, and Packham here is going to have to start defending after attacking Barth. He's now having to defend Tobin once again. And Tobin, can he go for a switchback? Yeah, he's trying it once again. This is probably my favourite corner to go for a switchback for. And Brown's is absolutely beautiful for switchbacks. And Tobin looks like he's going to have the inside coming up towards turn 1. Later on the brakes there for Tobin. And he's going to get it done down the inside. Great move there by Tobin. He's going to have the inside for Druids as well. And looking like that's Barth and... Orange still side by side, Barth on the inside. Orange trying it around, well, trying to defend around the outside. He's going to have the inside coming down towards Graham Hill Bend, and I think he will be able to hold on. But Tobin capitalising on those two battling up ahead, and he's going to get past Barth as well. Looks like he will have the inside coming up towards what's it called? I keep forgetting the 30s. That's it, 30s, and he's got the job done as Tobin. So Tobin's been racing with us for a long time here, and I think for pretty much close to when we started, he's been racing with us. But good to see him back out on track. He did take a bit of a break earlier on in last season. I think he did. Yeah, he took a break for a season or so, but he's back with us once again, and he's showing what he's capable of at the moment. Currently running in P9. He started in P7. Obviously had that contact with with Packham, but did return the position, so he lost a couple of places as well, but he's fighting back hard now to get these back. And this is some great racing here. Even though we don't have many drivers out on track, there's still some great racing going on here. Tobin having to defend though against Orange behind him. I'm sure Orange late on the brakes there and making a huge mistake into turn one, losing all of those positions to Barth and Packham. You can see in the background Assetto now catching up to this train that we've got going on here. Pitchuk down, well, up in P4, not down in P4. Definitely up positions. P4 is higher than P10 or whoever it was. That's simple maths, but we got it. We've got it now. Pitchuk hunting down Vining here. These two have been quite close since the start of the race. They've both gained positions since the start. Faulkner 5 seconds back to these two. We did see him make a mistake. And oh, who's that off the track? It was a race leader. Pisano. He's made a huge mistake somewhere. I don't think there's been any contact. Nope, there's been no contact. He's lost it by himself. And surely we're going to need a replay here to see what has happened to Pisano. And this is exactly what I was saying earlier. If you make a slight mistake with a track like this, Brands Hatch, you can easily end up in the wall and pretty much race over. And oh no, I've just seen what happened. It was the grass there for Pisano. We're going to get a replay up of what exactly happened to him so you guys can have a look at just what happened to Pisano. So here we go. You can see Pisano already pushing the car, just by looking at how close he's getting to the edge of the track. Even caught a bit of the grass there, so his tyre's not going to be happy with that one. Catches the inside curve, goes a bit too wide in the exit, and just bounces over the grass, loses the car, and pirouettes there. And luckily actually missed the barrier. But it's very, very close. I know that was how he lost the car, and now Vining, as we see, onto the grass as well. As Pisano continued, yes, he's currently in P6. We've got a few comments coming in there. We've got Lord Puller saying getting spicy on track. Love how animated the cars get. JF saying first stream I've caught on here and it's already a spicy race. Yes, it is. And Lord Puller saying Kings 1 and 2. Yep, so Cascanova going to be happy with that one so far. Of course, we've still got another 40 minutes left of this race and the pit window to go, which opens up in just half a minute, 30 seconds now before the pit window opens, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing some drivers pitting early. Maybe Pisano might think about pitting early. Those tyres aren't going to be happy with him at all, especially after that spin. But I think for the majority of the drivers, they'll be running on slicks here. We'll go down to Demori, who is now battling with Faulkner. Down the inside he goes. Now, it looks to be wet tyres, actually, for Demori. This is what I was thinking about earlier in one of the previous races this season for the Track Day Championship on Fridays. Where I missed the leader crossing the line. There we go, we've got the pit window opening now. Fire into the pits early on. But let's have a look at Faulkner. Are they all on? Or is it just... I don't know if they're all on wets. Oh, actually, no. So, looks like some of the front runners are on wets, but Galley is on the slicks, I believe. No grooves there on his tyres. This is the only way we can check what tyres the drivers are on. And, oh, looks like Demori's into the wall. He's lost the car himself. And in the same place, actually, that I believe... oh no, he lost into the third to last corner there, so Demori has lost the car into Sheen Curve. But what a shame there for Demori. He's picked up some damage as a result, but he's continuing, and he's actually now in this battle. Oh, early pit stop there for Demori. Actually, no. Sorry, not for Demori, for Barth. But he's actually in this battle side by side with Tobin into turn one. Tobin losing that position now to Demori. After his spin, after Demori's spin, of course, he ended up behind Tobin but got that position back off of him into turn 1. P2 and P3 still very, very even on pace, separated just by a few tenths here. Faulkner, what's happened to Faulkner? He's lost the position to Pisano now. Pisano's got past him and up a position there for him. Looks like, I believe Pryor has retired from the race. Obviously, I'm not surprised. He's racing with broken bones at the moment, so... oh no, Pryor's P17. Sorry, who has retired? We've had one disconnection, and we've had one retirement, of course. But looking like Tobin still on the back of Demori here. And we've got Lepre in the comments saying, everyone getting cursed by me. Jan saying he punted Gallet. Yep, we did see that. It's a slight incident, but didn't look too bad at all. But yeah, I think this is the first race where we've had the commentator's curse. Actually start, because the commentator's curse hasn't been with us for pretty much the whole season up until now. Last season it was absolutely horrible, as some of you may know. It looks like that's Demori pulling the trigger now. Into the pits he goes for his mandatory stop. But last season it was absolutely horrible, and for some reason it started again halfway throughout the season, almost halfway throughout the season. Yeah, so I'm not sure why. It's quite odd. Sometimes the curse, maybe the curse was on holiday, on vacation, and now it's back after its holiday, and it's cursing some drivers out on track. But looking at P3 and P2, Pitchick and Vining just separated by a few tenths here on board with Pitchick now, and you can see just up ahead of them is, I believe, Assetto, who has served his mandatory stop, so blue flag's being waved at the moment. I believe he'll let the lead cars through just now. There we go, pulls off the racing line now. That's how you let leaders pass without losing much time. You can probably try and follow leaders unless they pit, of course, but try and follow them to maybe gain some time, see what their lines are. And actually there is a bit of spray coming off the tyres as well. It didn't look like there was any when we were on the trackside cameras, but once we're on board, there definitely seems to be some spray coming from the cars in front. An interesting line there from Vining, sort of being off the corner. I don't think he meant to be taking that line. It's a bit deep onto the brakes into Druids. Faulkner now into the pits. We've got Packham still on the back of Tobin. That's another very close battle that's going on. Bit of a mistake there on the exit for Vining. On the exit of Surtees. I always forget Surtees. I don't know why, but on the exit of Surtees there is a bit of a bump, and it can sometimes unsettle the car, or maybe get the traction control to kick in. So it seems like Vining had a bit of a mistake on the exit there, but Pitchick sticking with him. Now this last lap, they were very close in terms of lap time. Pitchick slightly faster, about 3 tenths faster that last lap, and I hope none of them pit at this point, because I want to bring up their lap times. There we go. So it might be a bit hard for you guys to see, but I will read it out. It looks like none of them have pitted, so we'll check this lap once they cross the line. So there we go, 1:30.2 for the both of them. So Sector 1 looks like Pitchick is about a tenth quicker. Sector 2, Vining though, about a tenth and a half quicker in Sector 2. And Sector 3 looks like Vining is a tenth slower. So Vining that last lap 400 slower. So very, very even lap times between the two, and they are very evenly matched on track as well. But doesn't look like anyone will be making any overtakes between these two, unless there are some mistakes made, and we've seen plenty of mistakes happen throughout this race since the start. Looks like now Pitchick may have found a bit of a weakness there from Vining. He's closing up even more. Only 3 tenths between the two now. Well, Pitchick in that first sector seems to be much quicker. Not using much of the exit curb though. into some of these corners, but of course doesn't want to take any risks after what he's seen to some of the lead cars. Lead cars being Pisano, Demori, of course, and Galley. They're pitting, coming out behind Demori, and actually behind Barth. They're going to quickly switch over to these two. Barth looks like he's just got ahead of Galley in the pit stops. Just stays ahead of Galley there, and they're quite close on the exit of the pits. Pitching now into the pits for maybe an undercut on Vining. So it's still the top two, or the top three, Thomas, Vining and Pisano. Who else have we got battling out on track? These two Porsches seems to be the closest at the moment. And let's go on board with Galley while we do watch these two. Galley obviously on the slick tyre, so seems to have opted for that. Let's see what tyres Barth is on. Unless it's just a Porsche thing. I haven't actually experimented, because if we switch to the top two, you can see the grooves in the tyres. I'm just going to cycle through the drivers. Oh no, Tobin's got... Maybe they are on slicks. Maybe... Ah, yes. Packham as well. Yeah, so it's not a Porsche thing. Packham is on slick tyres as well. And if we go to Pisano, wet. So it actually does work. Okay, so something new that we've learnt there. But that means the two Porsches, Barth and Galley, are running on slick tyres at the moment. Pisano slightly wide there. Flashing his lights, blue flags there for someone ahead. I believe that's Assetto once again. Is Pisano going to pit? No, he's not. The top two now into the pits, Thomas and Vining. I assume they'd be communicating with each other as well on when to pit. So they've decided to pit at the same time here. Assetto slightly deep into turn one. Is he going to move over? Looks like he's going to let Pisano get past. Pisano keeping it out for longer. Yeah. He had a spin earlier on, so I would have assumed he would have pitted by this point. But yeah, it seems to be like it is a mix of tyre choices for this race. Now, being in damp conditions, it all depends on well, how much spray there's coming from the cars and how wet the track is. The only thing the drivers can really do is judge based on practice and on how the track looks when they're lined up on the grid at the start before the formation lap. And it seems at the moment the drivers with the wet tyres currently further up the field, but there are a few drivers on slicks as well who seem to be doing some very quick lap times too. Now Demori, oh, bit of a mistake there from Pisano. I think he might hit this lap. That car looking quite twitchy at this point. Steph saying, let's hope there'll be less shadow realm entries after the pit window. Yeah, let's hope. There we go. My prediction was correct. Pisano did pit this lap. Just too good. Reading the future and putting the curse on people. And yes, before you ask, I'm not from this planet. I don't know what planet I'm from. But it's not Earth. Yeah, let's see what the tyres Demori currently on. So still in the wet for Demori. Now I wonder if he's changed tyres or not. Our track is still damp. It doesn't look like it will be changing anytime soon. But let's go back to Pitchik. Looks like he's navigating past some traffic here. And oh, Raki still with that damage he had earlier on when he lost the car. But into the pits he goes. Now it's quite difficult. Well, a difficult pit entry to speed in, because you've got that left-right chicane or that right-left chicane, if even, that actually slows you down on entry, so it helps in slowing you down. Of course, if you don't put your pit limiter on, it will be a penalty for speeding in the pits. Well, we've seen it happen before. Drivers think their pit limiter's on, but it's not. They put their foot down and they end up speeding in the pits. And currently looking at Tobin and Packham, who are still yet to pit. Tobin Original race lead. Obviously that won't be for long. 8 minutes left of the pit window to go. So will he pit this lap? Yes, he will. Into the pits. Packham though keeping it out for even longer. So interesting strategy there for Packham going long here. We'll see how much fuel he has though. I'm sure he wouldn't have put in that much to go this long. Usually we see a lot of the drivers pitting around the halfway mark. We're 2 minutes over the halfway mark here, and oh, interesting line there from Packham. Bit of understeer now for him. I think a bit too hot into Druids. Yeah, not much action going on after the pit stops. Of course, let's see where Tobin comes out on tracks. Still in his box. He was pretty much battling with Barth and Gallet before the pit stops. Barth ran in the final corner now. Tobin hasn't been dropped off the tracks. There we go. Now he's moving, and Barth down the start-finish straight here. Can Tobin come out ahead? It's going to be close. No, Barth is going to get the move done in the pit stops. What's happened to Tobin? He's had a horrible pit stop here. He's lost 2 positions behind Barth and Gallet now, and it's not by a few tenths, it's by a few seconds here. So Tobin has got some work to do to catch back up to these two and get back past them as well. He's really made some time loss in the pits. And Packham's still out on track, funnily enough. He's not going to pit yet either. He's going to keep it out for quite long. Maybe expected to go long earlier. Well, that was his strategy from the beginning. He's definitely got enough fuel to go this long in his first stint. Pit stops here pretty much the same with what we do across all our championships. I think we may vary it for next season, and of course for next season as well on the Track Day Championship. We will probably be making that a GT4 only championship, where everyone will have to be in the Porsche Cayman. So that will be much more even, I think, in terms of the field. And of course, if they win, whoever wins that championship is going to be in the real Cayman. So for a test day, of course. So it makes things more interesting, I think, with them all being in the same car. The reason we haven't done it this season is because we wanted to see if it would fill up, and of course it did. So next season we are comfortable enough to progress with that. But looking like Pisano on the back of Vining here. Vining looks like he's got some traffic in the likes of that Ferrari, who hasn't moved out the way down the straight there. Interesting place to let them pass, but he's done it. I believe that's DeHuisRocker. I'm sure I've said that so wrong, but in P16 in the Ferrari, yes it is, running the Q-Lash Sim Racing livery there on that Ferrari. Pisano looking left and right for a move here on Vining. Pisano opening up the penultimate corner. Vining going defensive, and he's going to have to go defensive towards the final corner, I think. Keeping the car. No, moves back over to the racing line. Pisano looks for a dummy into the braking zone, but it's not going to phase Vining whatsoever. And Packham's still out on track. Surely he's going to have to come in this lap, although he's running a huge risk here by pitting this late. And oh, bit too much curve for the both of them into turn one. And look who's behind as well. Faulkner is caught up. So this seems to be quite an interesting battle, and Vining has lost a lot of time in the pit stops as well. We saw him ahead of Pitchik, but Pitchik 5 seconds, 6 seconds even ahead of Vining. So Vining's made a huge mistake in the pit stops, and we will see what the pit stop times are. But I want to watch this battle before we check any data out. And looks like Pisano down the inside there to Surtees. I found the corner name again, and he's got that move done. And looks like Faulkner is going to get a good run as well. He's got the move done. I think there's no overlap between the two drivers now, and Faulkner can comfortably go defensive. Vining's not going to be able to get his nose back up the inside. There we go. Packham now into the pits for his mandatory stop. Raggy back into the pits as well. That is a stop go 30 that he's got for speeding in the pit lane. And is that commentator's curse? After I said it's Or was that afterwards? I did say it's not it did say it's not easy to get a stop-go 30. And Raggy unfortunately has got one. That's Brian moving out the way there. Of course, we hope he has a speedy recovery, but definitely seems like Vining's losing a lot of time now. Still on the wet tyres. Faulkner now on the back of Pisano. Seems to be lapping quite even times. In fact, 4/10 last lap quicker than Pisano. Pisano was stuck in a bit of traffic, however. And Thomas comfortably in this race lead there, 5 seconds ahead of Pitchik, but I don't think any gap here at Brands Hatch is comfortable with the mistakes we've seen from the drivers. Faulkner now is still on the slick tyres, and there is a bit more spray from the cars in front. So Pisano, you can see he's got a bit more spray from his car. Is on the wet tyres as Pisano. Oh, I'm loving this. We can actually tell what tyres the drivers are on. It would be cool if we had an app to tell us. I'm sure there must be something, but or maybe not. Who knows? We'll have to see. But we've still got this battle going on between these two. We've got another battle as well between Packham, Galley and Tobin. This is quite a battle. And they're all catching up to Barth ahead as well. So let's quickly bring them up. There we go. There's definitely plenty of action throughout this race. We had a bit of a dull moment for a couple laps after the pit stops, but there we go, Rag into the pits. But it's interesting once again. There's never a huge dull moment here in these races at the SimZone. There's always action, and it's always towards the end as well, where everyone starts to bunch up together. And that's not the commentator's curse, I hope. But Pisano looks like he lifted a wheel maybe onto the grass or the exit on entry, sorry, or he locked up, but he's dropped down there to P5. And let's bring this battle up here now as well. Looks like Packham's still ahead in this train, and looking like that is Galley looking for a move on Packham. Packham has to leave the room here, coming towards Druids on the outside, and there's not much overlap between the two. Can Packham hold it there, as looks like he hasn't been able to hold it, and that's Galley up into P8. Packham there now having to fend off Tobin here. Tobin down the inside, and he's got the move done. What a move there from Tobin. And Packham losing 2 positions in just a couple of corners on the same lap. The player saying Porsche champ, let's go. Lord Perel saying Packham field more fuel, I think is what he meant to say. Right, I understand that anyways. Steph Jake saying, I have a feeling this will be a super exciting finish. I think it will be. With mistakes like that, Pisano's now behind Vining again, so he's got to do all that work, hitting and overtaking Vining all over again. But we've still got this battle going on. Barth is P7, 2.8 ahead of Galley here. It looks like he's not pulling away that much from Tobin at all. Tobin still sticking with him. Packham trying to follow Tobin through as well. Let's see if we can get an onboard from Tobin. Here we go. You can see the gap between the top two, Thomas and Pidgeot, now up to 6.4 seconds. So Thomas pulling away ever so slightly by about a second. Well, ever so slightly. He's pulled away about a second and a half there since we last checked them out. Pisano right on the back of Vining once again. Looks like Pisano has the pace for a top 3 here, maybe even a win, but just not the consistency. He's made too many mistakes. I mean, he was leading the race after he got past Demori, but just made too many mistakes and dropped right down the order. We'll see if we can get put back past Vining in just a moment, but this battle we'll continue to watch for just a bit. Looks like Pisano very, very close now. Actually, we're going to have to switch them. Let's see what we can find here in terms of this battle. Pisano and Vining on board with Pisano here, right at the back of Vining now. This last lap, Pisano was over a second quicker than Vining. So, in fact, Pisano that last lap lapping quicker than the race leader, 6/10 quicker. In fact, that last lap as well, Tobin lapping quicker than the race leader, than the top two. So the top two currently in the 129s, but we've got a few drivers in the mid-pack, in the 128s, mid to low 128s in fact, and they seem to be the drivers on the slick tyres, although Pisano on the wets is interesting. A bit of a slide there for Vining. No, the Mercedes doesn't quite like that corner and likes to get the rear end out. Pisano trying to look for a way past. Bit of a poor exit there from Vining onto the grass there, and then we go track sides. Pisano trying to move around the outside here. He's got enough. He's using all of the track there, almost on the edge, and I think he's going to get it done around the outside there. Fighting hard to keep that position, but I don't think he's got it in him. But really late on the brakes there from Pisano, and there we go. He's got the move done. And Vining, unfortunately, I don't think can do much. Tobin into the pits. Oh no! What's happened there to Tobin? Is it a drive-through penalty? No, it seems to be. It's damage. No, it's not damage. Oh, I think it's fuel. It must be fuel, surely. He's got no damage on the car. Oh no, and he's missed his pit box. He's had to reverse slightly. I think it is fuel, unfortunately, for Tobin. He's dropping down the order, and in fact, I've just seen this battle as I'm watching Tobin reverse, or trying to find his pit box. It's now Pitchik who has been caught by Faulkner, so Pitchik's made a mistake now somewhere as well, and Faulkner's right on the back of him. Look at this, how close they are. There's nothing between them whatsoever. And Pitchik in a bit of trouble in the last 16 minutes of this race. He was running quite comfortably, but comfortable isn't a word. At Brands Hatch and Faulkner right on the back of him now. Gallet on the back of Barth as well. That was 2.2 or 2.9 second gap not too long ago. But there we go. Tobin has refueled and he's back out on track, but he is a few seconds behind Comizetto. That will update. There we go. 3.3 seconds behind Comizetto, and Faulkner trying it around the outside there into turn one. Is he going to go for a switchback? This is where we saw contact between Demori and Pisano earlier on in the race, but it looks like Faulkner has got the switchback done. Deep in towards Druids though. It hasn't worked for him at all, and looks like so close in the exit between the two. In fact, it might just work out for Faulkner, even with that mistake in towards Druids, and he's still got that position there. P2 he goes, but great racing between the two. Pitchik had to leave just enough room for Faulkner on the exit. He couldn't quite shut the door. I think they might have been able to, but it probably would have resulted in Pitchik into the wall. But there we have it. Faulkner now his next target will be Thomas in P1. 8 seconds in 15 minutes is definitely possible, especially with Faulkner lapping in the 28s. Now that he's in clean air as well, I think it's possible that he can catch Thomas in these final 15 minutes. And it's possible that Thomas can make some mistakes as well. We just have to wait and see. Looks like Tobin on the back of Comizetto coming up towards the the final corner, and I think Tobin's going to get past quite easily. But we're watching this battle between the two Porsches. Looks like Gallet's got past Barth here. Barth on the outside, not taking the optimal line. He's onto the grass. Oh, dipping away onto the grass there, and that's allowed Packham to catch back up as well. So Packham is now involved in this battle once again. I think Tobin would have been there if he hadn't had to pit for fuel, which is a shame. Lord Plus saying, what's happened? Yeah, well, I think it was your connection. Nothing on our end that went wrong. And Packham eyeing up a move towards the inside of turn one, has a look, but not forcing any errors there from Barth. In fact, Barth a bit squirrely on the exit of turn one. Once again, Packham going for a bit of a dummy there into turn two Druids, but it's not going to do anything for him just yet. You can see there in the background, that's Pryor. P14, not last, even though he's on the controller with a broken collarbone, I think it was. I keep forgetting what he's broken. Packham right at the back of Barth now. Barth looking to go defensive. Packham really putting on the pressure here. There's no more pit stops, remember. And there's Barth with a huge mistake. No, he's lost the car. Luckily kept it out of the wall. And that's the corner where most drivers make the mistakes. Let alone, in the wet, especially. But in the dry as well, it's a very, very difficult corner. Barth just seems to be struggling with the rear end slightly there. I think Barth, if I remember correctly, McGowan's lost the car somewhere. Yes, he has. Back on track. No, he's spun the car again. That AMG's got a lot of torque. You really need to be careful on the grass in the wet too, and he's going to have to let the leaders through here. And he's got it going once again. Has a bit of damage in the rear of his car. I'm not sure if there's been any contact. But I don't see anything on the feed, so I don't think there has been. I think he's just lost the car on his own, but that diffuser damage not going to help him in the wet at all. You need that rear diffuser and that rear wing massively in these wet conditions. So I think that rear is going to be a bit more unstable than it usually is. It looks like Packham now hunting down Gallet and P7. Where is Tobin? 48 seconds behind Orange, so I don't think he's really going to be challenging for any positions here. The top two now. So that last lap, Faulkner 7 tenths slower than Thomas. So maybe that P1 not looking likely here for Faulkner. 5 minutes have passed. And Faulkner's only gained a second here on Thomas. So not looking very likely. Now that might just be because they are lapping through some traffic. Thomas at the moment in some clean air. But Thomas seems to be quite comfortable at the moment, doesn't really need to push. Although he seems to be taking a few risks here by taking the grass on the exits on the corners. And it looks like Barth catching back up to Packham now. That gap was over a second and a half. It's now coming down closer towards that 1 second mark. Stefchik saying very unfortunate for Tobin. What defense from Faulkner. The racing is insane right now. Oh, Sugar, the voting. Yes. I'm not sure if there's any point. Actually, yeah, sure. Let's put it up now. Let's put up the voting. There's not a huge amount of people watching or racing, but we will put it up now. So invested in the racing, I forgot to put it up. Usually the bot does it, but for some reason the bot hasn't been posting it in the chat. But there we go. You can vote for your driver of the day there using that link. Everyone watching, please do vote for your driver of the day. We'll keep it open towards till the end of the race now. Well, usually driver of the day is open towards the end of the race anyways, but because a lot of people don't usually click on the link or vote, they want to watch the racing, We like to put it up for the whole race, or the majority of the race, but maybe it worked this time around. Let's see, Packham seems to be catching up. Galley now, in fact, nearly sub. Oh, looks like they've had to navigate past the back marker. That is McGowan there, who needs to get out of the way there of Packham, obviously not through a corner. Plenty of time to do it now, and as he moves over, Packham goes through, but that seems to have lost Galley some time, although that gap has opened up once again now that Packham's had to get past McGowan here. Looking at the gap between the top two now, down to 4.6 seconds. It is rapidly closing in, and Faulkner in that last lap a whole second quicker than Thomas, so it's still very possible that Faulkner could be on the back of Thomas by the end of this race. So it's not over yet between those two by any means, and you can see their Barth just in the background there, getting past McGowan as well. But yeah, it's definitely not over whatsoever. So very, very close between these two, and that seems to be another back marker. I believe that's Assetto that Packham has just got past, but this gap between Galley and Packham back up to a second and a half. Doesn't seem like Packham at the moment will be able to reel in that Porsche, and it's that Porsche just within sight there of Packham, not far ahead whatsoever. That gap between the top two really coming down. That last lap, Faulkner 8/10 quicker, and this could be very close towards the end. And Steph Jake predicting that it's going to be interesting towards the end, and I think he's correct. I think we are going to see a battle for the lead in the last few laps of this race. Faulkner is on it at the moment. In fact, what tyres is Faulkner on? He's on the slicks. It looks like the slicks have been the right choice. Thomas on the wets. So, down to 3.5 seconds. The slicks, I'm not sure why there are drives on the wets actually. It does look like it's enough, or it's dry enough for the slicks. Even if they are under pressure slightly, it doesn't matter too much because the wets will be overpressured, I believe, and in greasy and damp conditions you're majority of the time on the slick tyres. So I think the drivers on the wet tyres are struggling at the moment. Demori still, though, with the fastest lap of the race, apparently, which doesn't make any sense. Maybe that last time around for Faulkner was an invalid lap. That's why he hasn't actually taken the fastest lap off of Demori, because the last... Actually, no, the best lap from Faulkner, 1:27.9. Ah, yes, the fastest lap is a 1:27.900. That's Elshaug into the pits now. Don't see him with any damage at all, so I think it might be fuel for him as well, which is a shame for Elshaug there. Looks like Pisano is catching back up to Pitchik as well. The gap between the top two, 2.3 seconds now. It is literally a second a lap. That last lap, exactly a second between Thomas and Faulkner, so it's going to be very, very close between the end, at the ends between those two. Lepre saying he screwed it again like always forgets one thing. Always forgets one thing. It's not easy doing it. It's not easy doing it yourself. But I am the multitasking king, so don't worry. Looking like Pisano now on the back of Pitchik, so we're going to have a couple battles, maybe 2 or 3 battles, I think. That'll be very, very close towards the end, like always. And that gap between the top two, it's coming down at a rate of knots here. But remember that once Faulkner catches up, he's going to have to get past. Brandhatch, not the easiest of circuits to get past, and I'm sure Thomas is going to be defending for his life against that Ferrari behind him. In fact, here we've got now Pidgeck, who will be defending for his life against Pisano. You don't want to be losing positions at the end of this race with just a few laps to go. Looking like there's another battle going on. Oh my god, there's so much going on at the moment. We've got Gallet battling with, looks like Demori has lost a position there. Gallet gaining a position on Demori here. And let's bring that up. So it's Gallet, Demori and Packham. Barth 12 seconds back after a few mistakes from Barth. And the gap between the top two now a second. I think we're going to have to switch to this this battle for the lead. Looks like Packham has got past Demori as well. So Demori dropping positions here. And let's have a look at this battle. Oops, at this battle for the lead. It's now just 7/10 separating the top two in the last few laps. So let's see if we can catch this battle as well. Oh, looks like, oh no, what's happened there? Oh no, looks like that was McGowan, who was onto the exit curb there and lost control of the car. A bit of a shame there for McGowan. But let's see, we've still got this battle going on between Pisano and Pidgeck as well, which we've got up on our secondary screen. We have to watch this battle for the lead. Now Faulkner has to find a way past. And we saw as well on the Track Day Championship at Valencia, we had a few drivers that were a second quicker than the car ahead, but they just had nowhere to get past. And we've now got Raggy and Guisep in P15 battling for position. Looks like Raggy's just got past there ahead of Guisep and Elshaug into the pits once more. What has happened to Elshaug? He's been struggling these last few laps. Maybe he still hasn't put enough fuel in here. And Faulkner looking left and right, nowhere to go. Is he going to go for a switchback here? He's got enough of his car alongside. I think he's going to be able to do it. Thomas is a bit of a sitting duck here, and there we go, losing the position to Faulkner. Faulkner getting it done, but they've still got one more lap to go after this. Well, Thomas, being on the alternate tyre, I don't think there is much he can do here well, not much he could do to keep back Faulkner, and he's going to lose time now to Faulkner. Faulkner's probably going to pull away and take this race win, barring any mistakes that he may make. Do we have some votes in for the driver of the day? We do. Still some people yet to vote though. We've got quite a few people watching now. Make sure to vote for your driver of the day using the link pinned in the comments. Be sure to do that before the end of the race, because we will close them at the end. And looks like that is McGowan there onto the grass, letting the lead cars through. But yeah, Thomas not able to stick with Faulkner after that one, but we still got Pidgeck and Pisano quite close here. Very, very close in fact. And Packham on the back of Gallet as well. I don't know who to look at. We're going to have to watch the race leader though cross the line as he enters the penultimate corner. Even with damage, you can see Faulkner has a bit of front splitter damage there on his car, but nevertheless he rounds the final corner to take the win here at round 3. Brands Hatch. Faulkner with a great race, started P8 and takes the win. He's really happy with that one. A bit of a pirouette there from him. Thomas could have been a win for him. I'm sure he's going to be gutted with that. But P2 for Thomas. Pidgeck's going to hold off Pisano in P3. And Pisano finishes in P4. Vining is going to cross the line in P5. Gallet is going to be very close with Packham. Packham wide through the final corner. So he's not going to get that move done. Gallet finishes P6. Packham P7. Demori, not the best race there for him. He went upwards and then went back down, but takes the fastest lap of the race, so an extra point there for him. But P8 for Demori. Barth is going to finish in P9. Started P10, gains 1 position. Could have been further up there for him as well if we didn't make a few mistakes. But pretty sure everyone on the grid here made mistakes. Orange is going to round the final corner, and he will finish in P10 as well. We will have a look at the drive of the day voting in just a moment, but we are going to wait, and we're going to get some interviews done as well, so stick with us and we'll be back in just a moment. Right, ladies and gentlemen, so it looks like Faulkner there taking drive of the day. Well deserved for Faulkner. Thomas there with 2 votes, tied with Pryor as well. Pryor obviously racing with, like I mentioned many times, broken collarbone and on the controller. But let's get some interviews here with the drivers then. Let's see who we can bring in first. So we've got Pitchik, who will move over first. Here we go. We've got Pitchik finishing P3 in this race, just holding off against Pisano. That was a close one towards the end.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, very close, but good points for you. What tyres were you on? Were you on the wet tyres or the slicks?
I was on the wet tires for the whole race.
And how did they handle? Were they okay, or were they eating up towards the end?
Yeah, after 10 minutes on wet tires, they start to hit very strong, and starts to struggle, and you can feel the loss of pace.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of drivers on the wet tyres. I think maybe slicks were better. The race winner Faulkner was, I believe, on slicks. But still, another podium for you. You finished, well, the first podium of this championship, actually. So finished P4 in round 1, so just missing the podium, but very good points for this round. And I think you'll be moving up into the top 5 of the championship after this round. So, yeah, positive result for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, congrats once again. And next round we have... What is it next round?
Valencia.
Valencia. Do you like that track?
Not really. Maybe I didn't have a lot of time to practice, but we'll see next week.
Yeah, I mean, the Ferraris and the Porsches are going to be... and the Mercedes, I think, is quite quick there as well. But, yeah, we hope for another good result for you next week. And we will see you then.
Thank you.
Thanks. There we go, that was Pitchik. Let's move over. Michael. Here we go. Oh, that scared you. I bet that scared you. It scared me. Got Michael in. P2. Just losing it on was it the penultimate lap or the last lap? And
yeah.
I assume it's just all down to the tyres. I think Faulkner was on the slicks, you're on the wets.
Yeah, amazing call from Faulkner to go on the slicks. Like, I was driving the race and I was absolutely perplexed at how he was catching me so fast. And me and Chris are just having a big rant about how the Ferrari's so OP. But yeah, it was just an amazing tactical decision. And I said, like, you know, if you're going to lose to anything, if it's going to be tactics and being outsmarted, then that's fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, Brown's not an easy place to overtake either, and quite a few drivers making mistakes on the track, getting onto the grass. But your race seemed pretty faultless in terms of driving wise.
Yeah, I mean, I just try to keep it as steady as possible. Like, after 3 or 4 laps, the left side tires are just all red. Like, there's zero you can do about it. Just try not to lean on it as much, but it doesn't really matter. And yeah, Demori and Pisano, I think, had a I don't know, an incident, or I seen Demori sideways. And then the same with Pisano. I was chasing him and he touched the curb or the grass and just went full spin. And I think he had another spin after that. But yeah, I just tried to keep things as smooth as possible. That's all you need to do in the wet weather, I guess. But apart from that, the tactics from Ethan was unbelievable, really.
Yeah, it was a good call from him, but still, a podium for you. You've now had a first, a second, and a third. So, good points again. You're currently sitting P2 in the championship anyway, so I think that'll probably... I mean, Pisano didn't have the best finish this time around, so I think that'll put you ahead of him. But yeah, good points and moving forward in the championship.
Yeah, it's all good, and I'm just looking forward to the next race. It's a good championship so far. Hopefully we can get some more people on track next week. Yeah, because I know there was a few that couldn't make it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And Valencia next week as well. You raced that on Friday, so I think you had plenty of practice.
Yeah, we've had,
Yeah.
Plenty of practice, and we know exactly what the tyre's going to do, and that's die. So.
Yeah, exactly, and it's not going to be wet, I don't think. At Actually, no, it's not going to be wet. It's raining on the Monday before, so
green track.
Yeah, it'll be fine. But congrats on the result, and we'll see you next time.
Yep, see you later.
Okay, we've got one more driver to interview, and that is Ethan Faulkner, your race winner. Ethan, another good result from you in a different championship, I think. But yeah, another good result.
Yeah, it was good. It was at P2.
Yeah, and the strategy worked perfectly for you. Slick tyres towards the end. I don't know what tyres you were on at the start. Was it the slicks as well?
No, wets.
Wets. Yes, you made the... I think you're one of the only ones who actually decided to switch the tyres. And, well, it paid off for you.
Yeah, it did seem better to go with than qualifying. I was about to go on slicks at the start, and I thought the last minute, no, I'm going wets. but then it didn't really work out well in the wet. So I thought, in terms of this championship, I had really nothing to lose. So I thought I'd take a gamble on the slicks because you don't lose that much anyway in damp conditions. So I took a gamble, and I'm quite surprised it paid off handsomely, despite also being at the last 10 minutes. I got taken out by a back marker, which lost me a bit of time damage, but still somehow managed to muscle my way through the win. So, yeah, I'm a bit shocked that I won, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's always hit and miss in these damp conditions. It kind of depends if it's been raining heavy before and it's just gone damp, or if it's been light rain for quite a while. But yeah, you pulled it off, and the P1. I mean, what are you hoping for in this championship? Well, of course, you missed. Oh, I think you DNF'd from last race, but
yeah, I did. Unfortunately, got involved in an incident, and then the race before it just had no pace. So it does seem like a great comeback, but I don't know if this will continue, to be honest. But we'll see. You never know what will happen. So
you're on a good streak so far. So across both championships, at least. I mean, let's see what you can do for next round, which is Valencia.
we'll find out.
Yeah, let's hope for another good result. But congrats anyways, and we will see you then.
Thank you. See you next time.
Yep, see ya. Take care. So there we have it, ladies and gents. That's pretty much it for today's broadcast. We'll be back tomorrow for the IMB Raceway Championship, where we are at Donington Park. And I think that is rain as well. So a lot of the UK tracks obviously raining. We had some thunderstorms over here as well. But yeah, we will see you for tomorrow, and a good night.